Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Daniel.
And this is Sam.
And we are the Kwok Brothers. And this video, what are we going to talk about, Sam?
Welcome back to the weekend edition. So let's go talk about the housing market update. And a lot of you guys had questions about when is the housing market going to happen? Is it going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month? So we're going to talk about the timing of the housing market and also just kind of throw a little foreshadow out there. We'll have a video for you guys sometime next week about how to buy the dip in the real estate. How to buy the real estate dip. Right. That's the title of the video. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned.
All right. Speaking of which, staying tuned to the housing market. So this is a article that both Realtor.com and MarketWatch put at the same time this morning. And so it says pending home sales sink as the housing market falls back to earth. Right. So it talks about given statistics that the annual basis pending home sales were up nearly 52%. But this time last year, pending sales have fallen to a record low as the onset of COVID-19 pandemic brought a real estate transactions to a corrupt halt. So interestingly enough, abrupt halt. Corrupt. That's corrupt. Yeah, we're saving that for the Biden video. Yeah. But what happened, right? So every region experienced a monthly decrease in pending home sales, meaning what? Your purchase volume is slowly declining by 3.5% on a monthly basis.
Here's the question, right? Now, what is the driving factor of that? Is it the interest rate increase that we saw? Because the mortgage rates did go back up. It's back to 3%. Daniel alluded to the federal rate going back up. We'll get to that in just one sec. Is it the mortgage rate and interest rate, or do you think that all the people who would have bought finished buying?
Well, here's what I think it is. Here's why I think, because remember, this is what we have to look at. These are pending home sales, meaning that your volume is down. Okay. So here's what I ultimately think happened. I think the last 12 months, we've obviously had extreme amounts of records, guys, in terms of the housing market, prices being high. Median home sales price jumped up to $375,000, which is the highest it's ever been in the history of the United States. Here's what I ultimately is believing happening. You have people in the housing market right now realizing that the inventory is too low. That is the ultimate #1 driver as to why houses are so high, is because the inventory is so low. You have all these people in Zillow, in Redfin, looking for their home. And you know what they're doing now? They're starting to rent. You're having potential homeowners, individuals, guys like me and you, right? Because we rent, actually. People don't know that about us. We rent because for us, it's more fiscally beneficial, more efficient. Yeah. And what people are not realizing is a lot of these people looking for homes are now entering the rental market. Rent has gone up substantially.
I think 5% increase from last year.
Yeah. Why don't you tell these guys how much has rent gone up in our area alone?
It's insane. I mean, it just even in our own apartment area complex. Your rent.
My rent's going up from 1982 to 2182. Yeah. So and you know what's even crazier?
$200.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we live in a 3-2, right? And it's 2,000 square feet. Rent has gone up $600. The last 3 years in our local area. The market rent used to be $1,900 for a 3-bedroom, is now $2,500. I told my wife, Lisa, we went from a steal to a deal is what happened.
So let's circle back, right? Because we're going to talk about the housing market. A lot of people are asking when is going to happen. Now, I think the real question is this going to be an actual crash where I would define a crash as 30% decrease in value or more?
Or through what, a month span of time are we talking? In one quarter?
Right, quarter to next quarter, right?
Got it, 30% decrease.
And it could happen in a span of 2 or 3 quarters, right? But so the real question is this going to be a crash, or are we going to have a soft landing correction where we'll see a decrease of about 10% in value, but that's just a natural.
Here's what I think. I think it's going to be a very quicksand-like death. Okay. So I think the housing market is going to experience kind of like what you said, 10% month after month or quarter after quarter after quarter decrease. But I don't think that's going to happen until next year. Because ultimately, if you're looking at this number, people are looking at this number, they're saying, oh, the housing market's going to crash. Well, no, not necessarily. It just means the volume, the purchasing volume is just decreasing by 3.5%, meaning that your buyers are leaving the market. So more people are going into rentals, which is why rents have been going up pretty much everywhere in the country because there's more demand.
So you said next year. What do you feel like is the driver for that to be next year?
So ultimately, the reason why I don't say this year, and potentially it might not even happen until 4th or 3rd quarter of next year, because you still have millions of millennial home buyers waiting on the sidelines to be able to purchase their first home. home.
Yeah, and then
those need to be dried up.
Correct. And then the other idea also, a lot of people don't, and this is a forgetting point that a lot of people don't realize, is that we haven't seen any distressed inventory hit the market in a long time.
No, not a long time.
Yeah, and if you factor that in, if we see a wave of distressed inventory, these are homes that might go through a pre-foreclosure or going through a foreclosure,
forbearance.
And
we haven't even talked about forbearance.
Play a role into that. So if the question is when, right? And I think Daniel might be right in terms of combination of different factors, right? We got the buyers kind of leaving the market, but I think more so that could hurt and cause some kind of housing market adjustments or correction. And we don't know yet whether, this is going to be a soft correction or a giant crash. I think what could be a bigger contributor for that is going to be the distressed inventory next year.
I agree.
When the forbearance programs, and we still have 1.3 million distressed, or 1.3 million homeowners that are in forbearance right now. Once that is set to expire, and of course, CFPB and all these guys are lining up and saying, hey, we shouldn't do any foreclosures till 2022. So that's a signal to me, like, oh, okay, that means distressed inventories will probably not hit until 2022 nationwide.
Yeah. And you know what's really going to be interesting is, I think, and Ray Dalio is saying it, Kathy Wood is saying it, Michael Burry is saying it, everybody is warning us of hyperinflation. Everybody is warning us of inflation. So think about this for a second, you guys. If we're talking about homes decreasing in value, let's say 10% every single quarter, but at the same time, our nation is experiencing some level of inflation. April showed us 4.2%. If it's at 5%, 6%, which is very high, historically high.
Very, very high.
That's even higher than what the Obama administration administered to recover the market, which was at around 4.2% in the fall of 2008.
Yeah.
So think about this for a second. What is the housing market going to look like when the overall market or our overall economy is experiencing very high levels of inflation, and at the same time, the price of a home is going down, 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 down? You know what that equals? Not good news for the middle class Americans.
Oh, absolutely. It makes it harder for people to buy. And by the way, we'll talk about this in just a second, but there's a shift to more people renting, more millennials wanting to, they actually regret buying a home.
64% of millennials actually reported in a survey, they reported not being happy. They regretted buying a home. You know what the number one reason was? The cost of maintenance. They didn't account for the cost of maintenance.
So the point that I wanted to drive earlier was, with less buyers being introduced, I think there's going to be more. There's going to be definitely more institutional investors coming in, buying up more properties. We're going to see more. I think more institutional ownership than private individual ownerships overall. I think that's what we're going to see.
No, I agree. I think a lot of our generation is moving towards single family rentals.
Absolutely. So, by the way, talk about hyperinflation. Sometime next week, we'll have a video out for you guys talking about how hyperinflation affects the HELOC strategy. I know we haven't talked about that in a while.
We haven't.
Using
you gotta dust it off.
We do. Got to take it out of the closet. But we're gonna talk about that next week, and we're gonna talk about how the inflation doesn't necessarily affect paying off your mortgage anymore as much. And I know traditionally people are like, well, with the low interest rates and inflation, doesn't it make it less attractive to pay off your mortgage? But there is a trap that most people don't talk about, and we have to talk about reality.
Here's the thing too. Inflation is one of the most misunderstood words in economics. It's like fire. You can either use it to get your s'mores and cook your hot dogs, right, and have a great bonfire, or it could be used to burn down your house, right? Inflation is one of those things where it could either be good or it could be either bad. It's just how it's used. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Let us know, what do you guys think is happening in the housing market? When do you think the timing is going to be? What do you think about inflation? Anything you want to add in there? Yeah, so really coming back to the idea when, right? The question mark when, I mean, no one knows for sure. No one knows. But the clues are there. The writings on the wall is showing us that it could be sometime in 2022. We've yet to see any significant amount of distressed inventory hit the market. So that's a big thing. All of you guys should be watching right now, especially if you guys are interested in buying the dip, right? And we'll talk about how to buy the dip in terms of real estate goes. And I think that's what a lot of you guys are thinking is you guys are waiting on the sideline, like, oh, when is our turn, right? When is it our turn to get the discounted inventory? I think we're going to see it. Is it going to be 08? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be as bad. I never know. Yeah, but so that's just my personal projection. And is 2022, there's a combination of different factors happening, affordability and all those things. But
distressed inventory is something that we're watching right now.
So again, guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to have phenomenal content coming next week. And again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? You heard our opinions. You heard our thoughts. I want to hear yours. So again, guys, have a great weekend. Also, happy Memorial Day to those individuals, especially who have loved ones who served and unfortunately are not with us anymore. We thank you. Much respect to those individuals as well. Sam, you're a veteran. Nick, behind the camera, he's a veteran. Anything you guys want to add in regards to Memorial Day?
No, let's just remember all those individuals that actually did something for the country, right? So,
for sure.
That being said, we'll close this out. Have a great week.
Nick's got something. What do you got, Nick?
Hey, when you're at the beach, think about Normandy. Think about the men who lost their lives on a beach for our freedom. Don't forget that. Don't thank me. Don't thank a veteran. Just remember who lost their lives for this country.
That's right. Greatest place in the world. See you guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care.